the place you remember, going back again to a childhood scene, holding memories, going home, going home, going home.
Cambridgeshire legend speaks of the unknown gypsy boy, a frightened child who, fearing punishment for theft, hanged himself when he thought one of the sheep had gone missing from the flock he was tending for a local farmer. The sad irony was that when the sheep were counted the next morning, none was actually missing. Jancis was the same age as the boy would have been when she first heard the legend.
That story really hit me quite hard, and it stayed with me. It's always stayed with me, the story. And it was about 15 years ago my father said to me, "You should really write a song about the boy's grave, you know, you've always been interested in it. How come you've never written a song about it?" So I wrote the song about the young gypsy.
By the side of the road from Newmarket to Bury.
After struggling at a school where she felt unable to express her creativity, Jancis might never have become a singer-songwriter if she hadn't been inspired by hearing the story of the gypsy boy. It was on a school trip to Lowestoft, when Jancis was 10 years old, that she first saw the grave itself.
Coming out of Newmarket, we stopped at what they called the gypsy boy's grave. And the coach stopped, and we all got off, and they said to us before we went the day before, "If you'd like to bring some flowers, you can put them on the grave." So a little girl of about 10, I got off and I put my flowers on the grave. That certainly made me think, and it got me writing.
The tale of a frightened young gypsy.
The story of the lonely and frightened young boy struck a chord with the 10-year-old Jancis, an only child at a school she found very oppressive.
I can't say that school days are the happiest days of your life, as they say. They certainly weren't the happiest days of my life. I was fairly repressed as far as my creative side was concerned. There wasn't a lot of encouragement either. I was so delighted when I read my first reading book. I sat in the quiet reading time, and it took me some time, but I actually knew that I was reading every word all the way through. And I went to the desk and said to the teacher, "I finished my book." And she said, "Go back and read it again." And I felt fairly flat after that. I had lots of ideas about music and writing, and I was creative. I used to be thinking to myself, I'd much rather be playing my mouth organ or my recorder. Actually, I wasn't too bad with that, because you only had to follow one note at a time. You didn't have chords or anything. I suppose you're given your talents in life and you use them accordingly.
Before going back to find the gypsy boy grave, Jancis felt it was time to revisit her old school at Great Shelford, near Cambridge, to see how things had changed.
I don't know quite how I shall feel. I hope I can blow those ghosts away, the fear and the feeling in the pit of the stomach as you walk around it. Oh, there's the classroom where I very first came to Shelford School. God, it did seem big then. It seemed like a great hall, vast, and all these notices everywhere. Gosh, I do get a different feeling here. Sort of happy. Don't remember many happy days at school, but as I say, I was probably a pain as well. Great little Shelford Primary School, which was awarded a place in the essay competition. Now you see, if we'd had an essay competition, all my funny little stories, it would have been so encouraging. I think it's the same bell actually, only it was on a handle, and that was Miss Hayes' room there. This was the very first experience of Shelford School, this classroom. Mrs. Johnson, her name was. Just remembered it all those years ago. Nice lady. this is obviously new, and it smells the same. I don't have any. I don't think, oh, when's my mum coming to fetch me now, which I did then. I can remember actually the tables were as small as this, but the room just seemed so big. The first day at school, she saw me off with her friend. I think her friend's name was Molly Frost, with their bike. So they walked down the drive together, and they looked back up, and I was waving, saying, I can't think what I was saying, but anyway, I wasn't very happy. It seemed a long day, and then I hoped I wouldn't have to come back anymore, but of course I did. I feel light about it. I mean, I used to get this sick feeling in my stomach, thinking, oh, what am I doing here? It's a nice feeling. It's blown the ghosts away, I think, coming back today.
Jancis felt that the school had obviously moved on. Now, nearly 50 years since that inspirational day trip, it was time to revisit the Gypsy boy's grave. The child was buried at a crossroads, as this supposedly gave him choices in the afterlife. The grave itself is carefully tended to this day, although, mysteriously, no one knows by whom.
Well, this is certainly different from how it was all those years ago. There wasn't a headstone. In the early days, it was like a wickerwork basket going around it, but it's obviously been tended fairly recently, because the ground is clear of weeds. Yeah, I always thought his name was Joseph. It seems to be established around here that he was called Joseph, but there again, obviously the person that put this memorial on didn't know that and called him the unknown gypsy boy. By the side of the road from Newmarket to Bury, in the county of Suffolk in England's fair land, a small mound of earth marks the grave of a gypsy, a small resting place for a frightened young man.
Jancis wanted to pass on the story of the Gypsy boy to the children at Great Shelford School, as it proved such an inspiration to her when she was their age.
They tell in these parts of a young boy, a gypsy, hired by a farmer to watch over sheep.
It'll be very interesting to tell the children about my trip from Great Shelford School. I don't know how interested they'll be in it, of course, but looking at their faces and just seeing, as I look around the class, if I can see another Jancis Harvey there, who's got the same sort of look on the face of total intensity about this story.
Each evening returning, the sheep then he counted. His toil was hard, but his labour was fair. Oh, he was kind, he was gentle and bonny, but he was a frightened young gypsy. Oh, he was kind, he was